Well, that is the Ipswich boss, Kieran McKenna. Portman Road already full, 30,000 or so, and the atmosphere continuing to build. The teams are in the tunnel, but not for much longer. Ipswich and Norwich head-to-head again. The 93rd league meeting between these two clubs. Norwich with this remarkable record over recent years and not been beaten by Ipswich Town since 2009. That is the longest ever unbeaten run in this fixture across both league games and in all competitions. We're going to get a great roar in a couple of moments. There it is. Here come the two sides from the tunnel in one corner of the stadium, closest to the Sir Alf Ramsey end, and there's a massive tifo away to the left-hand side, blue and white. Ipswich fans on all four sides of the ground, and the tifo says, "Who's that team we all adore?" And the Ipswich fans are holding up blue and white placards high into the air, plumes of flame shooting up into the sky from the little plinths that they put on the far side of the field. We get a jet of warm air, even from the opposite side of the stadium. The big match atmosphere is very much here. Scott Minto alongside me, and Scott watching the subs come out ahead of the game. Juan Marcelino Nunez, the first player to move directly from Norwich to Ipswich since Andy Marshall in 2001. Liam Gibbs, it's worth saying, on the Norwich bench, moved from Ipswich when he was still a very young player. But for Nunez today, scored the winner in the last meeting between these two in a Norwich City shirt. If he gets on and plays a part in an Ipswich Town win, he'll be a hero forever.
Absolutely. I mean, look, as you say, the first time a player's crossed the divide since Andy Marshall for 2001, but for the first time for so much money, £7.5 million. The Ipswich fans, they find it funny. The Norwich fans are absolutely livid. One of their best players has gone, but he did only have a year left on his contract. And do you know what? He is the pantomime villain, isn't he? He winks down the camera, he taps the badge, says he's loving the colour blue, he's yelled on, "Come on, you tractor boys," and he's the front cover of the programme as well, holding the badge. Which, look, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really into that myself, but if you're going to do all that, then you actually have to perform. We'll have to wait and see whether the script is written for him to come off the bench and be the first person ever to score the winner for both sides in this game.
Well, let's remind you of the two teams in the bright sunshine here. Ipswich with Palmer in goal, Furlong, O'Shea, Kipre and Davis, Matusiva and Kayuste, Eggerly, Smodics and Philogene in support of Hurst. And for Norwich, Kovacevic is the goalkeeper, Stacey, Darling, Cordoba and Fisher, Topic, Matson and McLean, Cernat, Schwartau and Sargent. The two captains are being called to the centre circle, Kenny McLean and Dara O'Shea. Here are the subs benches for Ipswich: Greaves, Nunez, McAteer, Akpom, Jack Clark, Azon, Walton, Young and Taylor. You wonder whether there's a better subs bench anywhere in the Championship. And for Norwich, the subs: Grimshaw, Gibbs, Mahovo, Marcondes, Jurashek, Wright, Schlupp, Medic and Makama. Well, the wind is starting to whip up here around the stadium. I can see the corner flags really billowing away. And finally, for these two clubs, after a season of East Anglian derby absence, we're ready to get underway. This one is special for Ipswich and Norwich. This one means more. It is the premier fixture in this part of the country. Forget league form today. In East Anglia, a win in this fixture is all that matters. 16 years of hurt for Ipswich. Does it finally end today? Norwich, meanwhile, just love getting one over their local rivals. Piling on the agony for Ipswich is what they do best, at least in recent years. But the Portman Road crowd are ready to put the heartache in the past. Dark blue or canary yellow, Derby Day is one to show your club colours. And this is the 110th East Anglian Derby. It is live and exclusive on Talksport 2. Who will be the heroes? Who will be the villains at the end of the afternoon? Norwich, canary yellow shirts, green shorts and canary yellow socks. Ipswich, dark blue shirts, white shorts and dark blue socks. And Norwich will get the game underway from right to left in the first half towards the Sir Bobby Robson end of the ground. We are off and running. Ipswich from left to right towards the Sir Alf Ramsey end. There are Ipswich fans at both ends of the stadium, the Norwich fans on the far side in the cobbled stand. About 2,000 here today. An Ipswich fan, as the ball flies out of play, has headed it back onto the pitch. Ipswich throw left back position. Leif Davis back to Cedric Kipre, making just his third Ipswich appearance today. And now Dara O'Shea on the edge of his own penalty area. Forward to Kayuste. And now O'Shea knocks the ball up to the halfway line. Good pass towards Smodics, the diminutive number 10, but he's shrugged aside by first Cordoba and then Kellen Fisher. The ball has stayed in play on the near side touchline. We are right on the halfway line, by the way, our Talksport 2 commentary position. A steep drop to the touchline below where Liam Manning and Kieran McKenna are both on the edge of their respective technical areas. Former Chelsea defender Scott Minto is with me today. A minute gone, Scott, 0-0, and on Derby Day above all, you feel a good start is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the atmosphere is brilliant. When I drove in here, 2.5 hours before kickoff?
Yep.
There was that kind of almost tunnel of Ipswich fans I had to drive through.
They were here for you, weren't they?
I felt like I was playing again. I don't remember it happening much for me when I was playing, but it just is an incredible atmosphere. It's an incredible occasion. It's a brilliant start in terms of both sets of fans. You can see the canary yellow of the Norwich fans that are allowed to come in. Obviously, they could fill this ground out 2 or 3 times over as well. Atmosphere great. Derby started in the way that you'd expect, a little bit frenetic, trying to close down. No one able to keep the ball. But Norwich on the attack.
Long throw from Harry Darling, headed away by O'Shea, back in by Pelle Matson for Norwich. Sargent gets his head to it, and then O'Shea with a very composed backheader to goalkeeper Palmer. There are several blue and white Ipswich balloons that have floated onto the pitch. And
they want to put their foot on those. They will get in the way for sure.
Well, they are right in the middle of the Ipswich penalty area, those balloons, and a strong wind here today, gusty wind, given away by O'Shea for the second time in the game so far. Ipswich 0, Norwich 0. Norwich have a hold on Ipswich, there is no doubt about that. Kenny McLean with the cross, headed up into the air by Dara O'Shea, nodded back into the penalty area by Topic. O'Shea is there again to head it clear. Norwich territorially have had it totally their own way in the opening 2.5 minutes. Ipswich scramble the ball clear to the halfway line, and it's a massive boost, you have to say, for Norwich to have Kenny McLean back in the side, back fit. I say back in the side. He had to come off in the home defeat to West Brom, but he starts the skipper today. Yeah, I think he's absolutely key. I mean, there's 3 players, I think, in this Norwich side. Josh Sargent, obviously, the Championship's best striker. He needs a lot more service than he's been given so far this season. Kenny McLean being another one as well, him coming back in, the bite in midfield, the experience they got, the leadership that he'll bring as well when they will be under pressure, and they will today. But also Harry Darling at the back. I think he's absolutely key. Championship experience, he's able to talk to everybody alongside the back four while seeing the whole game in front of him. I think if those 3 players play well, maybe Norwich can get something out of this game. They're definitely underdogs though. Norwich, whose away form has been the one bright spark of their season so far. They've lost every game at Carrow Road to date, in League and in Cup. And for what it's worth, the 2 teams start 17th and 19th respectively in the table. It isn't really about the table today. Given away by Cordoba of Norwich City. Ipswich have it back now with Dara O'Shea. Angle ball to the right-hand side, evades Jaden Philogene, and that'll be a throw to Norwich City in their left-back position on the near side of the field. Kellen Fisher will take it. It is goalless on Talksport 2. And it does somewhat feel as though Norwich have started slightly more the composed of the 2 sides. Yeah, they have actually. They've certainly pressed very well. And just when Dara O'Shea did a very composed header back to the keeper, Alex Palmer, in his own box. Just since then, twice he's been forced into a pass that's gone straight back to Norwich. Leif Davis makes a good interception on the far side of the field, the halfway line, and now an opportunity for Philogene. He's got a hat-trick on this ground in the 5-0 victory over Sheffield United to get forward, but Norwich have won it back on halfway, and they have a throw which Jack Stacey will take. And a little quiet now at Portman Road, with Norwich putting a halt to anything that Ipswich have tried to put together in the opening 5 minutes or so of the derby. Out on the near side of the field, Schwartau back to Cordoba. Cordoba just shy of the halfway line. Schwartau again wriggles away from the challenge on the near side of the field of Egeli, but they've won it back here, Ipswich, with Jens Kajuste looking to burst forward from the centre circle, and he's fouled by the tough tackling Pelle Madsen. Madsen, Norwich's number 7, one of a number of new signings at the club over the summer, and it's a free kick to Ipswich. Live on Talksport 2 here, playing from left to right in the first half, and O'Shea standing over it, and Ipswich just looking to settle down into the game, Scott Minter.
Yeah, I mean, the game itself hasn't really settled down, but Ipswich certainly haven't. Norwich have been the team more getting the ball down and passing. I mean, Norwich have tried, have either been pressed into making a mistake or just given the ball away. So I think they want to try and calm the game down a little bit, show the class that they've got on an individual basis, but Norwich have started well.
Madsen has won it back half the pitch off Kajuste. Sargent has got the run of Cernats ahead of him, but Cedric Kipre is there, the big centre-half, to roll it back to goalkeeper Alex Palmer in an all-purple goalkeeping kit, and the threat to Ipswich's goal is gone for now. Given away though by Furlong. They have been sloppy with a couple of passes out of defence, but McLean has been dispossessed by Hurst, who surges over the halfway line. The Ipswich number 9, Madsen, comes across with a well-timed challenge. Deflection off Hurst, and some of the Ipswich fans at the base of the main stand are screaming at the assistant referee, but it did look like a Norwich throw, and that's the way the decision has gone on a massive day of NFL action on Talksport 2, as well as the East Anglian derby. Once we're done here, off to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for commentary of the Vikings against the Browns, followed by the Cowboys against the Jets. And over the international break, you'll be able to hear both England matches live over on Talksport. England against Wales in the friendly at Wembley on Thursday, and then the following Tuesday, Latvia against England in the World Cup qualifier. Thomas Tuchel having named his squad a couple of days ago. Smodic's on halfway, beaten to it by the sliding challenge of Fisher. Firm and not fair, says the referee Thomas Kirk. Fisher, I think, got some of the ball but played the man too, and it's a free kick to Ipswich on the halfway line. Goalless and a bit scrappy, I think it's fair to say, Scott. It's always a difficult one for the referee as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not unexpected. It is the Tractor Derby, so it is going to be like that for the start, but as I say, it's more Ipswich who haven't really sort of settled into it. Norwich are pressing really well without the ball, and with the ball they're passing okay. And to be fair to the referees, allowed a lot of things to go on, which I think is really good, but that foul from Fisher, I think, was absolutely spot on.
Headed by Kipre over the halfway line and into Norwich territory, well controlled by the Swede Kajuste. Wide ball to the near side in Egeli. He's got Furlong making the overlapping run. Near side the Ipswich right. Back to Egeli, their new number 8 again. Egeli, who has joined from Nordsjælland for a big fee. He is already a Norwegian international, even at the age of 19. Furlong right in front of Liam Manning and Kieran McKenna. Manning knows what this game is all about. Born in Norwich, taking his team to Ipswich today. And Fisher, facing his own dead ball line, is shoved in the back by Egeli. And that's a free kick to Norwich City, which their goalkeeper Vladan Kovacevic will come out to take.
And that's where sort of the occasion, the atmosphere, players have to be careful. Egeli's just gone straight into Fisher, where he's going absolutely nowhere. He's facing his own goal, and all he would be able to do was just kick the ball out, and Ipswich have a throw in a dangerous position. So players just have to be really switched on. Yes, you want to be on the edge for sure, but you've also got to be calm and composed in the decision making that you do.
Norwich look more relaxed, and Kipre nearly turning into trouble on the edge of his own box in the bright sunshine, but he darts beyond Cernats. And now Leif Davis far side of the field in the left back position. Carpet-like surface at Portman Road. It's an absolutely beautiful pitch. And now here is the Ipswich captain O'Shea to Furlong in the right back area. Furlong brought in from West Bromwich Albion. Kieran McKenna has really reshaped this Ipswich squad, much like Liam Manning did at Norwich, maybe to an even greater extent. Davis from the dead ball line with a low ball into the area. Did that take a nick off the defender? Corners given by the referee. First corner of Derby Day in the 10th minute. Ipswich 0, Norwich 0.
Yeah, it's the first time really Ipswich have got the ball into Norwich's final third with a little bit of purpose. And Relief Davis, what a player he is, and I'm sure he'll be a Premier League player again soon, hopefully from Ipswich's point of view with the club. But again, he's one of those who need to get forward as much as possible and put those quality left foot crosses in.
Ipswich are going to really crowd the goalkeeper Kovacevic here. Corner whipped in by Jayden Philogene over the head of Kipre and flicked clear by Jack Stacey in the end, the right back. Out of play for an Ipswich throw near side of the field, level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Not a spare seat to be had at Portman Road, which is usually sold out, just like Norwich City's Carrow Road. Two great clubs, two great counties. And here in the east of England, this is the game. Whatever division they're both in, it's the one they all want to win. Darnell Furlong with a long throw, hurled into the penalty area, headed away by Cordoba, and flicked further clear by Schwartau. Nobody upfield for Norwich, so Davis is there to send it back to goalkeeper Palmer. Davis again now, just on the edge of the centre circle. 20-yard ball forward to Hurst. Good ball, and now Smodics could be clear down the middle, and he waited for the goalkeeper, did Cordoba, and Kovacevic was pretty quick off his line, spread himself at the feet of Smodics, and Norwich City have the ball again, 0-0.
Yeah, good defending actually from Cordoba. He realised that keeper should be coming out. I hope he got the shout. Of course, Kovacevic certainly did well coming out and just stopping any danger.
Sargent at the other end is blocked off by Eggerly, and the ball hoisted clear downfield by Jayden Philogene. Now it's at the feet of Maatsen. Maatsen with the angle pass out to the far side, the right. Stacey back to Maatsen again. Got options square and ahead of him. Maatsen angles the ball back out wide again. Stacey in front of the cobbled stand with the Ipswich flags on the top of the roof. Gets Norwich City another throw. Norwich, who have only won more away league games against Bristol City than Ipswich. 15 times they've come to Portman Road and won, and they usually score home and away in this fixture. They have scored in each of the last 24 derbies since 2003.
Well, no pressure on them today then, despite the form they're in right now.
There's pressure on both, isn't there, Scott, for different reasons.
Yeah.
Ipswich have got a throw, by the way, right back area, but Ipswich players desperate to end the jinx. Norwich players desperate to be the set of players who don't see it ended. They want to keep it going.
Totally. And you're right to say massive pressure on both teams, but for different reasons. The one common ground is in this particular derby. But for Ipswich, the amount of money that has been spent, and they are kind of going again, really, and the fans are getting to know different players from not that era, but that was in League One and back-to-back promotions, and they want to try and get behind them, but they haven't really shown, well, certainly the start of the season in the way that they would have wanted, but they'll get there for sure. I've no doubt about that. And for Norwich, there's been a big turnover of players as well. As managers are coming and going. It's not really the Norwich type of style that you'd expect. Obviously, new ownership in recent times as well. So Norwich have always wanted to be in almost like the top 26, the Premier League or the playoffs of the Championship, and we're a million miles away from that at the moment.
Leave Davis surging forward down the inside right, low ball into the area, well spotted by Harry Darling. The number 6 slides in to hook the ball clear and away from danger in front of Sammy Smodics. At the other end, Kipre goes back to goalkeeper Palmer, and Ipswich are working themselves into the game now as we head towards the quarter-hour mark. This is Talksport 2, your home of the EFL, and it is Ipswich 0, Norwich 0. Forward by Davis, infield to Hurst in a central position, dispossessed by Maatsen, who's won the ball back 2 or 3 times so far. Now Cernats, ball forward towards the centre circle. Kipre makes the interception. Big call by Kieran McKenna to bring in Kipre for Greaves today. Jacob Greaves on the bench.
Yeah, it is. To be fair to him, he started well.
He's experienced, though, isn't he?
He is experienced. He's big, he's strong, he's physical. Maybe that's Greaves is pretty big and strong and physical as well.
Furlong, ball up the inside right touchline. Racing forward is Cordoba, and he's going to shepherd that out of play. Just had the edge on Smodics for pace. And Norwich get a goal kick. Scott Minto is with us for commentary. Scott, who knows what it's like to play on Derby Day. I'm sure you had plenty of the Chelsea against Tottenham games, and when you're at Benfica as well, they take their big matches pretty seriously.
Yeah, played against Sporting, played 2-1-2 fortunately, so that went very well. Even Charlton Millwall.
Yes, of course, we shouldn't forget.
No, I mean you can say West Ham Spurs as well, so I know exactly what it's like. And I remember when I was at Chelsea, you're on a bit of a middle of the run where they just didn't lose to Spurs, so you did feel that pressure of we can't be the team to lose to our rivals. But it should spur you on. It shouldn't hinder you.
But it's quite cagey so far here today. Ipswich though on the attack. Cayusta sweeping it left. Philogene touch heavy. Stacey gets back to make a tackle, right corner of the box, and it's a corner to Ipswich. It's
a poor touch that, wasn't it, from Philogene? Really good play from Ipswich, playing through the thirds and then getting the ball out wide. You can see what he was trying to do, just with that first touch, really put it in front of him, but it was too close to Stacey, and in the end Stacey still had to be careful because it was a sliding tackle in his box, and if he'd have mistimed it would have been a penalty, but because that heavy touch from Philogene came inside, not just forward and on the outside, it meant that Stacey could come across and make the tackle.
Well, neither goalkeepers had a save to make in the game so far. Norwich with everybody back in yellow. Corner in by Philogene. Here comes the goalkeeper, well taken by Kovacevic, middle of the 6-yard box, and a quick overarm throw, ambitious to the halfway line. Cernats was never going to get there, and it's prodded back to his goalkeeper by the Dutchman Matu Siva. Ipswich from left to right have it again. Here is Kipre. Wind is, well, it looked quite gusty beforehand, although corner flags are quite still at the moment, so maybe less so now. Opportunity for Davis to come forward for Ipswich. Back to goal. It's chopped to Eggly, edge of the area. Reverses it right to Smodics with the cross, and he's overhit that. Hurst couldn't get to it, and Philogene was never going to reach that ball either. Too much on it, on the cross, and it's a Norwich throw in front of the Canaries fans on the far side.
Yeah, he was just stretching there, wasn't he? If he'd have given himself an extra half a second, he may be able to set himself better and put a better quality ball in, but Leif Davis actually caused real problems with Norwich there because he came in and acted like another number 10, and Jack Stacey didn't know whether to leave his winger or go with Leif Davis. In the end, Leif Davis helped bring it down and they got the ball out wide, and it was a really good opportunity from Ipswich.
And a busy day of Premier League football to come later. Game day live around the grounds on Talksport from 1:30 with Sam Matterface and the team. Sargent for Norwich started the season really well, but not scored since August. Has managed to find Maatsen, who wriggles away from Philogene over the halfway line, and Norwich have got a slight numerical advantage here. Far side the right for them is Stacey, who clips in the cross. Back post is Schwartau, heads it across goal. Sargent in the box on the half volley, left-footed, and it's swirling over the top, and you can tell from the ironic cheers of the vast majority that was never going to trouble Alex Palmer.
I don't think Josh Sargent ever believed that he was going to score there. I mean, the cross came to the far post, it was headed back, and he was, yes, it was on his left foot, it was edge of the box, it bounced right up, and then as soon as he took the hit, his head went straight down as if, I shouldn't have gone for that. I mean, I don't know, just bring it down, have a volley, put it back into the box, but I want to say Norwich are playing really well. Just want to see Josh Sargent get a little bit more involved in the game. I talked about how he hasn't really been involved too much almost this season. He wasn't even midweek, but he is a class player. Give him a chance and he will score, but I don't think he thought he would there.
6 goals in 5 to start the season. The boozer because Schwartau has caught Furlong. I think if he's being pretty sensible, the referee, I think this is just going to be a talking to. And I think that is all it is from Thomas Kirk. Quick word for the youngster Schwartau, who's only 19. A bit over-enthusiastic with that challenge. Not a lot of contact on Darnell Furlong.
No, yeah, but that for me, that's very good refereeing. I've been very impressed by Thomas Kirk so far, considering the cauldron and the atmosphere they're in right now with these two great rivals. He's allowed stuff to go on. He wants to play as much as possible to go on. He's pulled it up and made free kicks when it is, but that's not a yellow card. There's a bit of contact, yes, but not deemed enough for a yellow card. So well done to Thomas Kirk there.
Ipswich Town 0, Norwich City 0 as we head towards the 20-minute mark.
The problem is as well, if you start giving yellow cards for that early in the game, then you're going to get 10 yellow cards and probably 2 red cards. So again, very, very, talk about for the players, the right balance between being really up for it, but not being overly excited for it and making bad decisions. The same for the referee and the officials as well.
Well, certainly not too much overexcitement on the field, you feel like, but again, a reminder of the jeopardy in this fixture in really what we've seen so far. A lot of people backing Ipswich to end the long run today, not beaten Norwich since a 3-2 win here in April 2009, with John Stead scoring what turned out to be the winner. But on a day like this, Norwich always seem to step up, and they might be unfancied, but they have been good away from home so far this season, so maybe that's suiting them even more. Stacey in the right back position for them. Stacey, early ball high down the inside right. Sargent didn't really chase it convincingly. O'Shea got there with ease.
Just want to see Josh Sargent's body language a little bit better. Norwich did really well when Ipswich are trying to press them on the left-hand side, and they managed to work across the back all the way through, suck Ipswich in, get it to Stacey on the right, who then look for that ball down the outside, and Josh Sargent should be reading that and starting to make his move already, and he wasn't, and in the end Ipswich won the ball back. But you talk about not a lot has happened, and you're absolutely right. that one attempt, I'll call it an attempt by Josh Sargent, that's the only attempt by either side so far, none on target, and there's an expected goals of 0.06 for Norwich because of that shot, and 0.00 for Ipswich.
High ball upfield by Eggerly, and Hurst could be clear here. It bounces down, Darling gets back, Philogene is in to turn it home, but the referee has given Norwich a free kick. There was a foul on Darling, he says, by Hurst. Great finish by Philogene through the middle, but it won't count. Still 0-0.
No, and to be fair to the referee, he called it early. You could see his arm go up, even if you can't hear the whistle. And Hurst can't believe that's the case. I personally think that's a little bit harsh. I mean, first of all, Harry Darling's trying to grab Hurst, and he's not able to. He's come round the side then. There is a little bit of a push from Hurst. The referee could definitely say, even if we did have VAR, which of course we don't, that wouldn't have got overturned. But talk about the physicality of a derby, or even just a good old-fashioned championship game. There wasn't a lot in it, but there was enough for the referee to say the arm came out, he fell over, and there was a foul. I just want centre-halves to be stronger than that.
Tottenham 1, Brighton 0 in the WSL. Still 0-0 here, but better from Ipswich. Some of the home fans out of their seats on the far side to urge the marauding left-back Leif Davis forward, but Ipswich go back into their own territory. No pressure on Kipre, and then square to O'Shea. Kipre again with a safety first ball across to the Ipswich captain in centre half O'Shea. Now Furlong, right back area. Back to O'Shea again, risky ball, but Cayuste turns Maatsen brilliantly. Then he runs into Schwartau. Norwich have it back, and it's 3 against 2. Schwartau left edge of the area with a shot, and it's palmed behind by Palmer. Not enough power or direction on it from the Dane Schwartau in the end, but it is a quarter to Norwich. And again, this playing out of the defensive third, this obsessive playing out from the back that you see around the country. Ipswich haven't looked convincing doing it so far, Scott Minto.
No, and Norwich look better at winning the ball back and pressing than Ipswich do right now. We're talking about how Norwich are able to get the ball from left to right and then try and play the ball down the outside, and Ipswich were trying but couldn't get close to them. Well, Norwich, when they press, they are making those tackles, they are winning the ball back, and obviously we've got our first shot on target there of the game.
Marcelino Nunez warming up for Ipswich against his old club, gets some big cheers from the home fans. Corner to Norwich City, drifted in by Kellen Fisher, headed away, hit by Maatsen from the edge of the box. That deflects behind off Smodics, and Norwich get a second corner in quick succession. This is their best spell going forward in the game so far, halfway through the first half and goalless.
Absolutely, I'm looking at the clock. We are halfway through the first half. It's been Liam Manning must be absolutely delighted with how his team has dealt with the atmosphere here, but also played with and without the ball. They've been the better side. And as it stands, as I say, Ipswich haven't had a shot on or off target yet.
There we goes Fisher, getting a warm welcome from the Sir Bobby Robson end. He'll be right-footed and out-swinging. Well, I think that's all we can call it. As the wind suddenly really picks up. Fisher delivers high. Sargent at the near post, headed away by the other number 9, George Hurst. Kellen Fisher, Norwich Young Player of the Year last season. And Harry Darling is going to jog across from the penalty area to take a long throw into the 18-yard box now. Ipswich have brought everybody back. Have to say, not been a derby of great quality.
No.
Up to this point. But I suppose they aren't always great quality, but they are great intensity.
It's not what you look for. You look for the win at the end of it.
And the fans just want that 100% commitment. Long from Darling into the near post, and a downward header away by Kipre. There was a foul anyway. Free kick to Ipswich Town. They're very evenly matched. There's nothing to separate them on Talksport 2. I mentioned that Tottenham 1, Brighton 0 score in the WSL. We'll have Tottenham's next game after today on Talksport 2 against Chelsea over the men's international break. They made a good start, have Spurs, to the Women's Super League season, and a goal to the good. The other Women's Super League games are all 0-0. Jim Magilton among those in the crowd today. Former Ipswich manager, in fact, the last Ipswich manager, would you believe it, to be on the winning side against Norwich in 2009.
I remember playing against him. Good midfielder.
Well, it was a long time ago then, wasn't it?
So, mate.
A long back to O'Shea, and now Palmer. Ipswich number 1 to Kipre, the left edge of the 18-yard box. Are they both a bit tentative maybe to try and be the team as Matuseva found by Stacey? Although I don't think there was much contact there. Free kick Ipswich. Are all the players at the moment from both sides, Scott, just thinking, I don't want to be the one that makes a mistake in a derby game?
I don't think that's the case for Norwich. I think Norwich are playing really well, tactics spot on with them without the ball. I think it's Ipswich who seem a little bit reticent to try and gamble on what they know they can do. We're not seeing the best of them either on an individual or a sort of pattern of play, or 2-3 passes going and then suddenly they get in down the outside.
High ball by Furlong, up towards the inside right, into the penalty area now goes Hurst, but he's tracked all the way by Cordoba. Hurst plays it back to Eggerly, right corner of the area with a deflected shot, bounces up into the air, miscued by Cernats, drops down to Philogene, back to goal the Ipswich number 11. Philogene has held up the play neatly here, the former Villa man, goes back to O'Shea, middle of the Norwich half, better from Ipswich. O'Shea's crossfield ball again to Eggerly, out on the right hand side. 27 minutes gone and 0-0. Eggerly delivers, right-footed. Hurst gets up with the header, and a good header from quite a long way out. Got above Maatsen, but it's straight at Kovacevic.
Yeah, do you know what? I didn't think Eggerly was able to get a cross in there on his right foot, but he did. It's a really good cross. Hurst does so well climbing up. I mean, he's 12 yards out, so to get above all the Norwich defenders and also put it into the bottom corner was a difficult thing to do, but I think it's probably Ipswich's best bit of play so far.
It wasn't really the time for an inverted wide player, was it?
No.
In that situation.
You need an old-fashioned right-footed right winger there. Still a good cross.
Yep. Good ball in, good pace. Forward by Kenny McLean, the Norwich captain. High, long ball down the left-hand side, near side of the field. Schwartau never going to reach that against Furlong, who's always a very consistent player and a very effective player at championship level. And right back was maybe an area that Ipswich wanted to look at. Quite a bit of turnover over the summer for both teams, and probably more so at Norwich because, of course, there was the change of head coach as well. But for whatever reason, Liam Manning's team are more comfortable playing on the road, at least so far in his tenure. That's where all their points, all 8 points in the Championship have come, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost all 4 in the league and in the Cup as well, but it's not a trend you want to continue. If anything, if it has to be one way or the other, you want it to be the other way round. You want that home form to be the fortress, the fans, where obviously the majority of the fans are able to come in and watch and see their team win. And then the away, sometimes you can understand it why you don't pick up points, but they've got to sort that out for sure.
Kenny McLean, centre left position, good ball out to the right wing, and here is Jack Stacey into the area now, bundles over Leif Davis. And that's definitely a foul. What a crossfield ball by McLean on the diagonal, and Stacey made a great run, but Davis got in front of him, trying to shepherd the ball back to the goalkeeper, who didn't come actually, but Stacey shoving the back and a clear free kick.
That was a wonderful ball from McLean, it really was. He pinged that 50 yards cross-field in between 2 Ipswich players. There's only 10 yards in between them. Stacey, not a bad touch, but good defending from Davis.
Furlong flicked from the right back position, hugging the touchline and out of play. Good press from Norwich City, forcing the error. I don't know why in that situation, Scott, you wouldn't go long. Ipswich just, again, determined to play the ball out from the back. And
they are.
Got them into trouble.
Yeah, but Norwich's pressing is so good.
Oh, good ball by Furlong over the top. Hurst is away into the penalty area. Angle is very tight. Forced wide by Cordoba, who got back at him. Excellent defending by Cordoba. Hurst's pullback hits the defender, and Kovacevic was beaten to it by Smodics, who's got the last touch on that from the dead ball line, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. It looked for a moment like the big number 9, who scored 2 in 2 at home, George Hurst, might be in, but Cordoba has done a great job of shackling him in the first 30 minutes for Norwich, and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, brilliant defender from Cordoba. He got so close, so tight, used his pace first of all to not allow Hurst to get a shot on target, and then I was thinking, just don't foul, because he was all over him inside the box, and in the end he got the block shot. But you talk about how sort of Ipswich, and they haven't been the composed side that I thought they would. If anything, I thought it'd be the other way round. They'd be better with the pressing, but better playing out from the back. They're better off just going longer, because George Hurst is making that run down the channels, and that's where they look most dangerous. So yes, OK, try and play and suck them in at times, but don't overplay the pass. Look over the top as well.
Okay, you stay. Wide to Eggerly. They've played through the thirds effectively this time. Eggerly inside right. Jinks infield, left-footed in, swinging cross towards Philogene. Kovacevic came a long way, the goalkeeper, then flaps at it, almost dove over the top of the ball, and he got fingertips to it to push it behind for a corner, but that wasn't convincing from the goalkeeper.
No, it's poor keeping. You know, and even if it was George Hurst there, you'd half understand it, but you should still come through him. It's Philogene there. He's done a Superman, coming out, fist out, just catch the ball. Philogene's not your tip. He's not going to go up and try and challenge him there. Just shout, scream, make it sound like he gets out the way and you're going to come in and catch it.
He's one of the smallest on the pitch. Philogene takes the corner, in swinging, headed down by O'Shea, Kipre, and bundled in! Ipswich Town lead by a goal to 0! Cedric Kipre really lashed at that after Norwich failed to deal with the set piece. And 16 years on is today the day, finally, for the Tractor Boys to get one over the Canaries. Ipswich 1, Norwich 0.
Well, I was just about to say, as the corner came in, what Kovacevic will not want is a goal to come off the back of that. It's a horrendous error where he's got to come out and claim the ball and catch it. And he's gone to the corner, and yes, of course, you can turn around and say, well, you still got to defend the corner. And I would say that as well. It's a really good header back. The corner's come into the far post. Headed back by O'Shea. But Kipre does really well. He challenges McLean. It kind of hits up his chest, but he's still looking at the ball. McLean's not. And as he watches it, waits for it to come down, he absolutely smashes it into the roof of the net. Joe, it's against the run of play, but Ipswich are 1-0 up.
And the Ipswich fans are loving every minute of it. Goalkeeper didn't cover himself in glory. Any chance he should come for that corner, or is there too much whip and pace on it?
Well, I think there was a lot of whip and pace. He should have actually caught the cross that led to the corner. That was the big issue. I mean, look, the defender should still be able to deal with it. Quite often I sort of say, if the ball's in and around the 6-yard box, I want my keeper coming out. I played with David James, who you knew he was coming out. He'd catch the ball 9 times out of 10. The one time he didn't, you drop in and you defend properly. But what I would say is in that one, and especially nowadays, they absolutely flood the 6-yard box. So I wouldn't necessarily have a go at him on that one, but I absolutely would have a go at him for not coming out and catching the ball and just going through Jayden Philogene, which led to the corner.
Talksport 2, Ipswich 1, Norwich 0 in a game of very few chances up to this point. But Cedric Kipre has made the goalkeeper pay. What a finish it was for his first in Ipswich colours. The team in blue and white lead, but here's Cernat's on the attack for Norwich. Dead ball line, tries to dig out a cross. Leif Davis slides in to block it, and it's a corner to Norwich City, who probably edged it up until the goal, which came 32 minutes in. But they are now behind, and it's not often that this is the case. In these last 14 derbies, would you believe it, Ipswich have led for a total of just 32 minutes.
Is that right? Wow. Well, what I would say is Norwich have definitely been the better side up until the goal. And now it's about reaction. And they're reacting not too bad by forcing a corner.
Kellen Fisher, right-footed out-swinging, looping delivery. Harry Darling trying to get to it, headed away, hit by Schwartau. Deflected in! What a response! Norwich City were behind for 3 minutes. And it's Oscar Schwartau via a deflection from the edge of the box. Palmer unsighted. Ipswich won, Norwich won. Norwich are doing it to Ipswich again.
Well, we talked about reaction, and that's the reaction that Norwich fans and Liam Manning would have wanted for sure. And seeing the TV cameras going to Kovacevic, and I can understand why. That goal should never have happened for Ipswich. Norwich have been the better side up until now, but it's all about putting the ball in the back of the net. And Ipswich were the first team to do that. And again, reaction, force a corner, get the corner in. Ipswich didn't clear it properly. It's a strike first time, wasn't it, by Schwartau? And it's the deflection that's done Alex Palmer. There's no way he can get there. Interesting game, fascinating game now. Wasn't too much happening in the first 20 minutes. Now there's certainly a lot happening.
And Norwich City have scored. And it's Schwartau who's got it. It did hit Matu Siva on its way beyond the goalkeeper, but it's definitely Schwartau's goal.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going on target. So there's no way it can't not give it to him. And do you know what? It's really opened this game up now, isn't it? It's a great atmosphere. You can hear the Norwich fans. Ipswich fans a little bit stunned. Didn't deserve to go a goal ahead. And now, hopefully, the game will open up a little bit more and we'll see a lot more goals.
Norwich City back level almost straight away. Schwartau's high ball over the top and Kipre's let it bounce and he's flicked it away from goal only as far as Pelle Madsen midway inside the Ipswich half. Is the curse going to be prolonged again today? Norwich just don't know how to lose an East Anglian derby. They always seem, even if they're not in good form, to pick up for this fixture, Scott.
And I think that was 3 minutes, so Ipswich have led in this fixture
35
in
the last
now.
14 and a half. There is something about it.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Free kick to Norwich on the halfway line. Kenny McLean was fouled. Had a very similar game the last time these two teams met at Portman Road when Ipswich were flying high. Again, Norwich were not in good form, but they picked up a 2-2 draw that day and it was about right.
It's the beauty of derbies. You know, it's a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. Form goes out the window. On paper, you know, the money that's been spent and where Ipswich have been and Norwich have been in the last couple of seasons, and there should be a comfortable victory for Ipswich, but it's a derby.
Cordoba with the crossfield ball out to the right. Darling was forward and he catches Davis. Yellow card actually for Harry Darling, who played under Liam Manning when they worked together at MK Dons. Ipswich Town 1, Norwich City 1. And it's really the response that you need in a fixture like this for Norwich, and they continue their run of scoring now in 25 derbies in a row it is in all competitions. And the 2,000 travelling fans are making all the noise at now a cloudy Portman Road.
I think it was really important psychologically as well for Norwich to get that equaliser almost immediately. They have played well, but they've come into this game not playing well at all. It's been really poor, underperforming, especially at home.
Cayuste's ball through the middle though has set Hurst clear. Hurst right edge of the penalty area, gets the shot in, but drags it wide.
Well, just seeing whether...
Corner given, I'm not sure why.
Yeah,
no touch from the goalkeeper.
I think it went through the legs of Cordoba, maybe just nicked one of those legs, but we talked about how Ipswich give the ball away when Norwich are pressing high, but when they're able to get in the space in behind, this time it wasn't just a long ball, it was well played from Ipswich. And yeah, keeper nowhere near it, so there must have been a little touch from Cordoba.
Don't think many would have expected Kipre and Schwartau to be the two goal scorers so far, but it is 1-1. Another Ipswich corner, lofted in by Philogene, headed by O'Shea, looping up into the air, gets a second bite at it maybe, but this time he's beaten to it by Topic, I think it was, and then sliced out of play by Schwartau for an Ipswich throw. He doesn't like coming off his line today, Kovacevic, the goalkeeper. Right underneath the crossbar almost, that corner. Ball pumped back in by Matuseva. High diagonal, got held up in the wind, actually, that. And Stacey gets above O'Shea, so nodded behind again.
Joe, you're absolutely spot on. He doesn't want to come out there. It's a floating ball. It's even with the wind coming towards him. And in the end, the Norwich players headed it out. He's inside the 6-yard box. He's got to come out and claim that. If I'm Ipswich now, I'm putting as many crosses in as possible.
Scores a level. Talksport 2 on East Anglian Derby Day. Home of the EFL. 5 minutes the first half to go. Dinked in by Philogene from the corner. Punched away by Kovacevic this time. Cheers from the Norwich fans. Lofted back in by Eggerly. Here comes the goalkeeper once more. Doesn't get there. Philogene from the angle. Cleared away by Fisher. Some of the Ipswich fans behind the goal wanted handball. Play continues. Philogene out on the far side, the left. He's beyond Cernats. Oh, and that looked like a foul. The referee says goal kick instead. There are no complaints from Kieran McKenna. And Kovacevic's mixed afternoon, nervy afternoon continues, Scott Minto.
Very nervy indeed. The first one he did come out and it's a decent punch. The second one, I mean, look, what I would say is at least he's come out and been positive. And as I say, the defenders then can react and try and get on the line, which is exactly what happened. They were able to get the ball away. It's when your keeper doesn't come out and it's in the 6-yard box. If a proper header comes in, he's got no chance of reacting to it.
Well, it's... the 2 goals have really sparked an upturn in the intensity, haven't they, here?
Yeah, it's been good now.
1-1, and Davis doesn't catch Stacey. Certainly doesn't win the ball. Norwich continue in possession with Cernats. Advantage, I think, was played there by the referee, but it's won back by Cayuste. Midway inside his own half, he's given it away. Josh Sargent up to the edge of the D, onto his left foot, low shot straight at Palmer.
And that's half a chance for his quality, isn't it? Right in front of goal, 19 yards out. Well, it's one thing if your shot is blocked. Another thing is just shot straight at Alex Palmer.
Palmer slices his clearance out of play, and the Ipswich fans are screaming at the goalkeeper. There are still some of the deflated balloons on the pitch. They probably need to get those moved out of the way because they're in the penalty area right in front of the goalkeeper. Bit of a distraction. As O'Shea clears upfield to Hurst. Great turn on the halfway line by Hurst, but Matson and Cordoba sandwiching him. And Cordoba in the bright yellow wins it back. Cordoba and Hurst. What a battle that has been through the first 42 minutes. Ipswich Town 1, Norwich City 1. Forward by Cordoba, high up the inside left, and that's going to go through to Palmer. Anyone's game, this, Scott Minto, it really is.
Absolutely. And you just felt there as Alex Palmer, and it's nothing sort of against him, but it's been at least half a dozen times, at least, where Ipswich players have, because of the Norwich press, have just given the ball away or kicked the ball out. And the fans, if you take that goal away, the Kipre goal, Ipswich have not played well. So the fans aren't happy at the moment.
Headed down by Cordoba. It's spun off Matuseva into the path of Cernats. Right through the middle. Cernats beyond 2 in blue and shoots low and wide. Good run by Cernats. But then when he tried to strike it goalwards, a free shot from the edge of the D in a very good position. He was nowhere near the target. 1-1.
Again, it's another positive bit of play from a Norwich player, isn't it? This time Cernats just getting the ball. No one's around for 3 or 4 yards, and by the time he's picked up, they can't get close to him. And again, it's another shot on his left foot, almost in front of goal, where he's just dragged it wide in the end. Norwich, they're looking dangerous.
Well, they've heeded our warning, Scott. They got rid of the deflated balloons now in Palmer's goal mouth. And the goalkeeper clears high and long up to the halfway line. Eggerly with a header infield, and it's nodded away by Kenny McLean. Matson for Norwich brings it down on halfway, hooks it over his shoulder, but too much on it for Topic. Ball is cleared upfield by O'Shea. That'll be volleyed away by Cordoba. And it's like tennis in and around the halfway line. Neither team can get control of the ball. Matson has let it run through his legs, and Philogene has taken it off him. Philogene down the middle with a left-footed shot! A screamer! Jayden Philogene with a goal to light up the East Anglian derby. A goal for Ipswich fans. Every true blue to savour. He just flashed it past Kovacevic from more than 25 yards out, and Ipswich are in front again, and it's their young maestro who's got it. Ipswich 2, Norwich 1, Jaden Philogene with another beauty at Portman Road.
Well, look, let's talk about the positives. Brilliant from Philogene. He picks up the ball with a lovely little turn. He runs 25 yards out and he absolutely cracks it into the top corner on his left foot. Brilliant. Now the negative. What is Kovacevic doing there? Yes, it's 25 yards out, and yes, it's ended up hitting the crossbar and in. But it's one that he gets his fingertips to. He's got to stop it. Talking about catching it there, but just tipping it over, tipping it round the post. And he knows himself with his body language by the time he got up, that is a shot he should be saving. I mean, look, Norwich have played really, really well, but it's about the big moments and who proves something, who does that magical thing, or who makes the mistakes. And in that goal, I think we saw both.
Ipswich 2, Norwich 1. And a free kick to Norwich on the halfway line. I'm sure Liam Manning won't be able to believe that his side have conceded twice in this game. Cernats, far side the right. Suns come back out at Portman Road, and Ipswich lead again. Kipre has somehow rolled the ball along the dead ball line and kept it in. Long downfield goes Cayuste, headed away by Cordoba. When they get the back line turning, Ipswich look a real threat, actually. Fisher retreating back to the left-back area. He's got away from Egerle, but he's conceded a throw. And, well, it was a great swerving shot from Philogene, and it had power on it, but he did seem to get maybe more than fingertips to it, did Kovacevic. We're seeing it again on the big screen. We're into 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half here. 40 seconds of that remain. A lot of power on the shot, but Scott Minto, you feel a good goalkeeper should save it?
I think a top-class goalkeeper saves that. Look, take nothing away from the shot itself, and it was a brilliant bit of skill and strike from Philogene. But you know, Norwich City will be looking at this, and Liam Manning as well, be saying, look, we've been the better side here, and suddenly we're 2-1 down. And talk about, you know, when he should have come out, which led to the corner, and in that there he should have saved.
Egerle infield from the right, square ball to Philogene. Davis is behind him if he can see him. Maatsen made an important challenge on the edge of the area. If Philogene finds Davis, he's got a clear shot at goal there from the left angle. That's the half-time whistle. Great roar from the Ipswich fans. After 16 years is their long run without a victory over their local rivals going to come to an end. Cedric Kipre gave them the lead. Oscar Schwartau with an instant equaliser. And one of the great recent goals in this fixture from Jaden Philogene right on half-time to make it Ipswich 2, Norwich 1. Scott Minto, for half an hour it was quite quiet, but suddenly it feels like there's loads to talk about.
Oh, it's suddenly picked up now of that, for sure. I mean, look, yeah, it was a pretty dour half an hour, but actually it was Norwich's tactics were spot on, both with and without the ball. Ipswich weren't able to play the ball out. The Norwich press was very, very good, and then Norwich at times were looking dangerous, forced a couple of corners without really testing Alex Palmer too much. And then, yes, the goals. Now, I do feel that Kovacevic has got to come out and catch that ball instead of just trying to punch it, slipping off his hand and going it for a corner. And then obviously there was 1-0. Kipre, well done in the way he dealt with that. Perfect comeback, it really was, within a couple of minutes of Norwich. And Strato, yes, he had a bit of luck with the deflection, but you earned the luck. I think Norwich deserved that for sure. Right on half-time as well. And the psychology of the whole stadium, that everyone now is very much on the front foot, where just a couple of minutes earlier they were not booing Alex Palmer, but there were groans coming out for misplaced passes. So it's just completely changed. A brilliant bit of skill and shot as well from Philogene. It was brilliant. I just do feel a top class goalkeeper doesn't let that in.
Well, Andy Marshall, the goalkeeper who crossed the divide, is here today. I wonder what he might have made of it. I mean, there's a lot of power and a bit of swerve on the shot, and it ends up, it sort of kisses the underside of the crossbar as it goes in. It's an amazing goal from an Ipswich perspective, but you know, you play with a lot of top goalkeepers, Scott, so will he look at himself? Will he go in and say, look, sorry boys, that's my mistake.
Well, whether he'll go in and actually say that, I don't know him as a person, but I definitely think he'll be thinking the same thing. I could see the defenders around almost, not quite believing that had gone in. And yes, I've played with top-class goalkeepers in the past. I mentioned David James to name just one, but I don't feel he would have been beaten with that. But look, let's be positive with the strike. You're absolutely right. It was hit with such force, and it was swirling and dipping as well. I think a lot of goalkeepers would have conceded it, but I'm thinking about this particular occasion and, what is Ipswich versus Norwich at Portman Road and how well Norwich have played so far in that first half. I could make an argument that they actually deserve to be a goal ahead, not a goal down, let alone one apiece. So just disappointing, certainly with the first goal, and even that one there. Many would have let it in, but I do think a top-class goalkeeper would have saved it.
All right, more from Scott Minto to come. Second half on the way on Talksport 2. It's 2-1 Ipswich. Let's get a quick weather report now on Talksport 2, all thanks to QuickFit.
Talksport 2 weather report.
With QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
So in our live commentary here in Suffolk today, 15 degrees, sunny intervals. It's a bit cloudy at the moment. Villa Burnley. Updates on Talksport later. 14 degrees and overcast at Villa Park. And we've got the Vikings against the Browns live on Talksport 2 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where it is 16 degrees and cloudy. And Brentford, Man City in the Premier League, likewise 16 degrees and cloudy today. That was the latest weather report brought to you by QuickFit, with over 600 centres across the UK, most of which open 7 days a week. They're always here when you need them.
Talksport 2 weather report.
With QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Well, it's still anyone's game in East Anglia. At the break, Ipswich 2, Norwich 1.
The unstoppable force of live football.
Brilliant goal!
EFL Live on Talksport 2. Gallagher Prem Rugby, live, loud and unleashed on Talksport 2 with Tenor Men.
Kicks down the left-hand side.
Get all thriller, no filler, full match commentary throughout the entire New Look season.
Straight down the middle.
And keep up to speed with every twist, turn, tackle and try.
They've scored.
New heroes will be crowned. Old rivalries will be reignited.
The roof almost comes off.
Experience the action, the passion and the exhilaration of the Gallagher Prem on Talksport 2 with Tenor Men. Keep control.
Welcome to Currys. That's the A-rated 10-kilo hot point washing machine with fabric care to help clothes last longer.
Wow. Wait, you said that?
Me. I'm using telepathy instead of talking. It uses less energy.
Oh, let me try. Oh!
It takes practice.
Delivery, installation and recycling for only £35. Energy-efficient tech made easy. At Currys. Add installation recycling at basket and 21st of the 10th. T's and C's apply.
Love football. So do we. At Sporting Life, we give you access to premium sports betting insights, and it's all completely free. Whether it's the tension of the match or the thrill of the goal, we're here because every moment matters. Join Sporting Life today to enhance your betting experience with in-depth analysis, exclusive content, and the latest form and stats. When it comes to football, we're on your side. Search Sporting Life.
You want the look, clean, close, sharp, but you don't have time to play around. Meet the Pitbull X5 series from Skullshaver.com. Our best-selling shaver, now even better. Smooth blades, stronger motor, better grip, built for speed, designed for skin. No mess, no mirror, no drama. 90 seconds and you're done. Fresh, confident, ready. Pitbull X5 range by Skullshaver. Available now at Skullshaver.com.
The Monopoly game at McDonald's is back. There's over £2 million worth of cash prizes to be won. And a chance to get your hands on some epic prizes. Go on, it's your go. 18 plus, UK, ends 21st of October. Selected menu items. App may be required. May depend on winning moment. See mcdrules.co.uk.
NFL Live, Monday morning from 0100 BST on Talksport 2. You won't miss a blitz, a rush, a tackle, or a touchdown of the New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. Over to you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. Here full coverage of the all-highfalutin, rootin' tootin' action.
Monday morning from 0100 BST on Talksport 2.
Feel the power and the glory.
It's go time.
And he scored. It's a brilliant goal.
fired up and raring to go. EFL Live on Talksport 2.
Throws the ball to the end zone. Cortland goes up, makes the catch. Touchdown, Denver.
Fires one deep right side for Garrett Wilson. He's got it inside the right pylon.
Wings one, end zone. Caught. Devontae Adams. Touchdown, LA.
This is going to be Brian Thomas Jr. to the 5. Brian Thomas Jr. into the end zone.
Caught. Touchdown.
Are you kidding me with that catch?
Justin Jefferson. Give to Judkins. Pushing. Touchdown. Quinshon Judkins.
Special for everybody to get to come to the United Kingdom and see hopefully a very competitive football game.
You are listening to EFL Live on Talksport 2. Full second half commentary of Ipswich against Norwich to come. But following us, we bring you commentary of the first of the NFL London games as the Cleveland Browns face the Minnesota Vikings. Will Gavin will be on the call for Talksport, and he joins us now to tell us a little bit about what's to come, Will.
Yes, good afternoon. We're here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The Cleveland Browns taking on the Minnesota Vikings, the first game in the London series for 2025. We're out in Dublin last weekend. Now it is London's turn. It's very overcast weather here in London, but still a little bit of sun shining, and the sun is definitely not shining on either of these two teams. Minnesota looking to bounce back after that defeat in Dublin last weekend, where they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, whilst for the Cleveland Browns, well, it's been a very forgettable season so far. 1-3 record, but a new quarterback to take to the field this afternoon. The rookie, Dylan Gabriel, takes the reins from Joe Flacco. Should be intriguing to see how he gets on the field. Big pressure, an international game to make your debut in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's been a great atmosphere so far, just on the walk to the stadium. So many jerseys of different teams, not just the Browns or the Vikings. A real nice atmosphere. It's a football weather day as well, like I mentioned. Nice and dry at least. But look, it should be very interesting to see how the Vikings bounce back. I mentioned a lot of change on their offensive line as well. They're having to deal with many injuries, which is going to be a real concern to head coach Kevin O'Connell on that offensive line. Just in particular, their right tackle Brian O'Neill, their centre Ryan Kelly, their left guard Donovan Jackson, all out. It's going to be a brilliant, entertaining, fascinating game to watch. We can't wait to see how it plays out on Talksport 2 from 2 p.m. this afternoon.
And a reminder, you'll be able to hear live commentary of the Cleveland Browns against the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL following our coverage at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Don't forget, Game Day Live is back on Talksport at 1:30. Sam Matterface and guests guide you through all the day's sporting action, including 5 Premier League matches. At 2 o'clock, Forest travel to Newcastle. Ange Postecoglou still searching for his first win. Talksport understands that he's already under pressure after 6 games without a victory. He's been reflecting on the outside noise about his position.
I knew I was getting sacked at Tottenham about 3 or 4 months before I did. It didn't stop me winning something. It doesn't enter my head. My responsibility lies in, making sure this football club progresses and gets to a position where it can challenge for things. And if I start putting timelines to that or worrying about what's going to happen next week, then I'm sort of not performing the role that I've been sort of given in terms of that, and I just don't think it's helpful to anyone. At the end of the day, things I control are the environment, training, the way we play. And as I said last night, I'm still very, very strong in my belief that we're not too far away.
Whilst over on Merseyside, Crystal Palace will be looking to extend their club record unbeaten run at Everton later this afternoon. Oliver Glasner's side haven't lost in 19 matches, stretching back to last season. He's keen to keep the run going.
Every win, every good performance increases the self-confidence, and this is what we can see. It's also, this season, the start was a little bit easier because the team stayed more or less together from the starting 11. We lost Epps to Arsenal and then replaced him with Jeremy Pino. All others, also, let's say 14, 50 players, we work together now for more than 1 year, so everybody knows what to do. It's We can't train at the moment because we're just playing, but it helps that the team knows what we want to do in possession, what we want to do out of possession, how we organize our rest defense and all these things. So it's just now always activate and keep the focus high. And that's the challenge, to be mentally ready. It's not physically. The players are so fit and we have such a great fitness and medical department. So there are no concerns about the fitness, the physical fitness, but the mental fitness. It's all about being ready, because it's not, I think, what we are doing on the pitch, is how we are doing, with the determination, with the intensity, with the belief, and this showing every third day. That's the challenge we have. And we have now one more game. Then is a little break with the international games coming up, and then the next tight schedule will follow.
That's Oliver Glasner, all the Premier League goals as they go in on Talksport, to come later with Sam Matterface and the team. Sam is based at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're here on 2. We'll bring you live commentary of the Minnesota Vikings against the Cleveland Browns in the first London game of this NFL season. That is followed by commentary of the Dallas Cowboys against the New York Jets. Here on your home of the EFL, in the East Anglian derby, it's Ipswich who have the edge at half-time. For Ipswich and Norwich, this one means more. In swinging, headed down by O'Shea, Kipre, and bundled in! Ipswich Town lead by a goal to nil. Is today the day, finally, for the Tractor Boys to get one over the Canaries?
He absolutely smashes it into the roof of the net.
Harry Darling trying to get to it, headed away, hit by Schwartau, deflected in! What a response! Norwich City were behind for 3 minutes, and it's Oscar Schwartau!
And that's the reaction that Norwich fans and Liam Manning would have wanted for sure.
Philogene down the middle with a left-footed shot, a screamer! Jayden Philogene with a goal to light up the East Anglian derby!
What is Kovacevic doing there? He's got to stop it.
Well, some might have thought it was a golden goal. Scott Minto blamed the goalkeeper. No, I'm only joking.
I do want to put more credit on Philogene. It was a great strike.
I'm just having fun with you. It's 2-1 to Ipswich here at half-time. So maybe that run, they haven't beaten them, remember, since 2009 in this fixture. Maybe it'll happen for Ipswich today. This is Joe Shannon and Scott Minto with you on Talksport 2. As I say, we've got the NFL coming up for you. Once our live football commentary's done. Next week, England against Wales on Talksport. Thursday night in that international friendly. Then Tuesday the 14th of October, Latvia against England in the World Cup qualifier. And next Sunday in the WSL on Talksport 2, Chelsea against Spurs is live with us. And our next championship commentary, Friday the 17th of October. It's Ipswich's next game, away at Middlesbrough, who were beaten for the first time this season in the league at Portsmouth yesterday. That's on Talksport 2. No changes at half-time, it doesn't look like. Well, Norwich feels, Scott, that they're a bit unlucky to be 2-1 down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, the stats suggest it's close. If anything, Ipswich have been a little bit better. My eyes have told me that actually, with and without the ball, certainly in the middle third, Norwich have been the better side. But that ball over the top, I think they can be vulnerable too. But yeah, it's just two moments, isn't it? One corner and then one bit of brilliance from Philogene.
Well, the game resumes. Ipswich 2, Norwich 1, unchanged, with Ipswich playing from right to left in the second half towards the Sir Bobby Robson end, which is the most vocal of the two ends at Portman Road. Ipswich in their dark blue and white, and Norwich canary yellow and light green from left to right. The Sir Alf Ramsey end, which is closest to where the 2,000 Norwich fans are located on the far side of the field. And I'll confirm the two teams for you again in just a moment. Leif Davis in the left back position, hoists the ball high and long. A little bit more cloudy and overcast again here in Suffolk. Cedric Kipre with a strange header that turned into a back header. I think he wanted to thunder that clear, like he thundered the ball into the net for the opening goal. It sort of hit the top of his head and bounced back to Alex Palmer. So 2-1 to Ipswich. Here's Scott Minter.
I'm going to give him a little bit more credit than that. I think he actually was about to power-headed it forward and realised, and maybe even got a shout from behind, that he had a bit of time, so just let it just get the top of his head, and it went to Alex Palmer in the end.
Palmer in goal, Furlong, O'Shea, Kipre and Davis the back four. Matuseva in possession now alongside Cayuste in midfield for Ipswich. Egley on the ball, playing on the far side, the right. Philogene the left and Smodics behind Hurst up front. For Norwich, the goalkeeper is Kovacevic, all in orange with short sleeves. Stacey, Darling, Cordoba and Fisher are the back four. Ipswich come forward now with Egley to the edge of the area. Cordoba authoritatively steps across him and whips it off his toes. Then a good ball up to the halfway line from him, but Cedric Kipre gets there to hammer it back to Palmer, whose control wasn't very good. Safety first, and he's whacked it out of play. The midfield three for Norwich are Topic, Matson and McLean, with Cernats, Schwartau and Sargent up front. I'll give you the two benches in a moment. One or two in the crowd still making their way back to their seats ahead of the second half, but here at Portman Road, with all of its great history and character, it's the vast majority who are happy with the scoreline. But you never know which way this game is going to turn, and Matuseva is giving it away to Matson. Square to Topic, edge of the D, slide tackle Cayuste, brilliantly timed. Almost stuck his left leg underneath Topic and poked the ball away. Now, with a reverse ball, is Egley. Down the right, Smodics towards Hurst, he's in! Oh, and he got nothing behind it. And it's gathered by Kovacevic. And one end to the other, it should be 3-1 to Norwich, Scott Minter.
Brilliant play from Ipswich. That little ball over the top just sucked out Harry Darling, but it was Smodics, not Hurst, who went with it, which meant that Hurst was free in the middle. Smodics saw that, played it in first time, and he didn't get right connection on it, did he, George Hurst? It's a great opportunity for him. He's only about 10 yards out. Perhaps could even have taken a touch, but even if he didn't, got to get more on it. It was a simple save in the end, but yeah, good play from Ipswich. And what I was saying in the first half, it just felt to me that it was Ipswich who were more nervous about the occasion and the big game rather than Norwich. The second half, I think that goal just before half-time has not only calmed the players down, but it's calmed the whole crowd down. A few minutes before that, before Ipswich scored, Alex Palmer put the ball out and everyone was kind of a little bit on top of him and very unrestful. The goal changed things, and now Ipswich at the start of the second half are starting to play how I expected them to play at the start of the first.
Yes, it should be 3-1 to Ipswich. I think I said Norwich amid all the excitement, but it's Ipswich who lead by 2-1. This is Talksport 2. The Ipswich bench: Greaves, McAteer, Nunez against his old team, Akpom, Jack Clark, Taylor, Young, Walton and Azon. And the Norwich bench, they have it on the halfway line with Cernats at the moment, out to the right-hand side, and Stacey, right in front of the head coach Liam Manning, Norwich born. The Norwich bench: Grimshaw, Makama, Medic, Gibbs, formerly of Ipswich, Schlupp, Marcondes, Mahovo, Jurasek and Wright. And Cernats trying to wriggle his way down the inside left, away from Cayuste, chips a high ball into the penalty area, hit it away by Cedric Kipre. Nearly 5 minutes into the second half. Free kick to Norwich, middle of the Ipswich territory, slightly left of centre. Leicester 0, Everton 1 is the latest score in the WSL this afternoon. Leicester, who've had a poor start to the season, it would be a fourth defeat from 5 for them if it stays like this. Spurs 1, Brighton 0, London City 0, Liverpool 0 and West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0 elsewhere in the WSL. Too far out for a shot from this free kick, Scott?
Well, I could certainly see them. It's what, 30, 35? Certainly 30 in between the two. I think it is a lot. I think they'll dink it to the far post. You could have a shot in these windy conditions and try and keep it low and hope that the goalkeeper parries it and you follow it in.
Everybody back in a long line for Ipswich of dark blue shirts along the edge of the D.
Norwich
2-1 down. McLean has played the ball out to the left-hand side in Schwartau. Fisher back to McLean to scoop it high into the box. Darling knocks it down, having his shirt tugged by Davis. Maybe they were both at it because Darling doesn't really appeal, and it's all the way through to Palmer again.
Yeah, interesting. His shirt was definitely tugged, but I think it's one of those where, in the Championship, both are quite happy to go for it because both are doing it. Not a penalty.
I thought good, firm, but fair challenge from Stacey on Philogene on the halfway line. Philogene gingerly gets up to his feet, one of the smaller players on the pitch, but it's he, with that wand of a left foot, who has scored what, if it stayed like this, and there's a long way to go, would be the winner. A rising drive from over 25 yards beyond Kovacevic, who got something on it but couldn't keep it out. Darling for Norwich now, the number 6, over the halfway line. 10-yard ball onto Cernat, back up wide to Stacey on the right. Forward to Cernat again, right corner of the penalty area. Philogene has an attempt at tackling him. Sargent has held it up with his back to goal. Norwich in their bright yellow shirts keep possession. Here they come on the far side, the left. The wind picks up. Schwartau. This is Talksport 2. Nudges infield. Topic! Low shot, side netting.
That's a chance. Somehow the ball's come to him. It's been played in between 3 Ipswich players, which means that Topic he's just left centre, inside the box, on his right foot. And he's dragged it wide. Got to hit the target there. I mean, if your shot's blocked, then it's blocked. Can't be missing from there. Alex Palmer looked like he was beaten.
Not scored for Norwich since joining in the summer, the Serbian Topic. Maybe it should have been 2-2. And that's a sense for you. The chance for Hurst at one end and then for Topic at the other. 7 minutes into the second half on how this East Anglian derby is still on a real knife edge here. And they are equally matched in terms of wins historically, these two, 43 each and 23 draws. So nothing to separate them. Out on the right is Smodics for Ipswich, far side, and he's held the ball up. He waits for the run of Eggerly down the far side of the field, but it's just overhit from Smodics, and it'll roll out of play in front of the two-tiered Sir Bobby Robson end, packed with Ipswich fans. A goal kick to Norwich City. Wonder how long, Scott, we will see both head coaches leave it before we get the first substitutions.
Yeah, I don't think Kieran McKenna needs to do too much. You know, they're ahead. As you say, they've created a chance already. It's more on Liam Manning. What are you going to do there? You know, Makama, right. Emiliano Marcondes. You know, he does have options. But I think we're only 8 minutes into the second half. I think these players, this 11, deserve another 5 or so minutes at least. I don't think they've played bad, I really don't.
Doesn't really feel like Norwich deserve to be 2-1 down. O'Shea gets in a tangle. Sargent for the dead ball line. Blocked by Palmer, the goalkeeper, and the Ipswich fans are fuming behind the goal to our right. They played themselves into needless trouble. It's a sprawling save by Palmer. Sargent had no angle. Corner to Norwich.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about, how actually Norwich have played well. They've played well when they've had the ball, but they've pressed exceptionally well when they haven't, and especially the back line of Ipswich, who look so nervous and trying to play the ball out as if they're Barcelona, and I don't think they've got the confidence to do that in this particular occasion.
Kellen Fisher to take the corner, 2 arms up into the air, right-footed in, swinging into the 6-yard box, and it's towards Sargent, met by O'Shea before he could get there. Back in by Matson. O'Shea, the captain, with a header looping away from danger again. Immediate danger anyway. Matson trying to wriggle away down the right, tangles with Smodics, goes down holding his face right in front of the assistant, who sees nothing wrong with it. Throw to Ipswich, it looks like, and the Ipswich fans all around us not happy. We're watching from the halfway line, right behind Kieran McKenna and Liam Manning. And again, I think the officials, first glance anyway, Scott Minto got it right.
I think he got it absolutely spot on. I think first of all, Matson almost tried to put his leg out to Leif Davis so that it looked like he would fall in a theatrical dive. And then he's gone down, and I don't really see where Leif Davis has caught him in the head. If he has, it's pure accidental and just a brushing off. I think he's absolutely not once but twice trying to get a free kick in that corner.
Not afraid to get stuck in, Matson, but you do feel he was looking for a free kick there. Quite gloomy skies overhead now. The sun has very much gone in. Norwich 2-1 down at Portman Road. Harry Darling fouled by Philogene. Bit of nervousness in the home crowd, maybe?
Yeah. All the while it's 2-1. There will be, because Ipswich aren't playing well. They're not playing like a side that looks like they're going to go on a great run and get promoted. But today's not about that. Today's just about trying to get the job done against your biggest rivals when you haven't done it for 16 years. It was interesting as the ball went back to Alex Palmer there. He just went, have it. I'm hoofing it back up the pitch, and there was cheers in the Portman Road crowd.
Nothing wrong with a long high ball. They've still got possession, haven't they?
Well, do you know what, Joe? I'm all for playing out.
Headed by Hurst. Smodics could be through here. And Smodics with a low shot from a tight angle under pressure from Darling, and it's gathered. Sorry, Scott. Ipswich were right on the attack very quickly there. But you're all for the odd high ball forward, just as sometimes it's appropriate to play it out from the back.
I mean, you're absolutely right to go in there, because that's a chance, another chance for Smodics, and again, another time where your forward player hasn't got proper connection on it, and it's a simple save in the end against the goalkeeper that must be lacking in confidence after what happened in that first half.
Darling now thunders the ball high up the middle for Norwich, and Schwartau's plucked that out of the air brilliantly with his back to goal. He's had to go a long way away from the penalty area though, and he had it whipped off his toes by Philogene. Great finish by Philogene and from Kipre actually for the first goal, but Norwich will really feel that individual errors have cost them for both. And Ipswich might think they were unlucky with Schwartau's deflected strike. Reverse ball by Egerle into the box. Hurst nowhere near it. Through to Kovacevic. Well, we nearly are at the hour mark now here at Portman Road. Ipswich leading by the odd goal in 3 in the big derby. Norwich with this long and proud run, more than 6,000 days without losing to their local rivals. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1, a latest score in the Women's Super League today. Jack Stacey for Norwich. He's beyond Philogene. He's midway into the Ipswich half. Stacey switches the play. Right to left to the far side. Schwartau left corner of the penalty area. Right-footed in, swinging cross over the head of Sargent and behind for a goal kick.
Well, that's a really poor cross, because he had time. There was no one around him. He wasn't under pressure at all, Schwartau, and there's only one person in the box, and that's Josh Sargent. So he's got to weigh the cross a lot better than what he did. And actually, Sargent got in between Leif Davis and Darragh O'Shea as well. So it's got to be a more pinpoint cross if Norwich are going to get back into this game.
Not lost in their last 5 league matches, Norwich City. Ipswich unbeaten at home this season. Home form was awful in the Premier League last year, but they're picking up again in front of what is always a fervent backing from the home crowd. Long from Palmer, high towards Hurst. The ball spun off Maatsen. Norwich clear up to halfway. Davis, good touch to glide up the left, and he was caught by Cernats. Again, well spotted by the referee Thomas Kirk, and a free kick to Ipswich on the halfway line with well over half an hour to go. Not sure Ipswich fans, with their record in this fixture in recent years, would feel particularly secure at just 1 goal up.
No, I mean, look, Norwich are very much in this game, and it will just take one moment, and if Norwich do equalise, then the crowd will get back to being extremely nervous like they were in the first half, for sure.
It's Norwich who look the more likely. Ipswich, they're on the break, aren't they, Scott, really, at the moment?
Yeah, Ipswich, you know, I still think they're dangerous with those balls, those channel balls and the balls in behind. And that's what they've got to do. If they win the ball back, they attack really quickly, like now.
Great recovery by Cayuste, and now Egerle darting in field from the right-hand side. 3 in, blew up with him. Egerle 25 yards out, tried a low shot. Came off Cordoba, maybe not the best option. Norwich have it back straight away. Fisher in the left-back area, back to Cordoba. Now he's under pressure, and he nearly lost it to Cayuste. Cordoba driving upfield towards the centre circle, and he does really well to find Cernats. He's looked very composed today, Jose Cordoba. And Cayuste makes another good sliding interception midway inside his own half. If you had to look at a player of the match from the Ipswich perspective, Jens Cayuste might be right up there. They're 2-1 up.
Yeah, totally agree. I think he's looked really solid defensively. He's enjoyed the physical battle, hasn't he, with George Hurst?
Davis with an early channel ball, and Hurst is onside. Angle is against him. Hurst lays it square, and I don't know what he was thinking, because neither Smodics nor Egerle were anywhere near it. Yes, the angle's tight, but he's got to go for goal, surely. Egerle, meanwhile, with a low shot, blocked by Cordoba, and then it hit Maatsen. Norwich were just hanging on for a moment there. Again, that channel ball that Scott Minto mentioned. Furlong with a right wing cross. Hurst tries to get up, headed away, finishing on the volley! And it's right-footed this time, and it soars narrowly over the top of Kovacevic's crossbar. Ipswich 2, Norwich 1. What an East Anglian derby this is.
Yeah, much better for Ipswich in the second half, and much better in the last few minutes as well. He's timed his run fantastically well, George Hurst. It's a really tight angle, but he must have looked up. There's no one in there. As you said, there's no one there at all, so somehow you've got to find a way through the keeper's legs, dink it over the top. Have a shot yourself, because you're not going to score by laying it across. In a way, it's unselfish, but in another way, I think it just shows that maybe a little lack of confidence he's got at the moment. Goal scorers should want to score.
They have lacked a killer number 9, haven't they, Ipswich, in the last couple of years? Here is Sir Nats for Norwich at the other end. Dead ball line in the right wing position. Chips in the cross, hits Davis, comes back to Stacey, square to Maatsen. Maatsen's ball, little flick by Topic, back to goal inside the area. Maatsen works it wide again. Here is Stacey into the penalty area with a left-footed curler. Header away by Kipre. Still not away just yet. Now Matosiva steps in front of Topic. And Kipre has gone down here, and the referee has stopped it. Live on Talksport 2, and applause from the Ipswich fans behind the goal. 2-1 their team lead Norwich. Once we're done, we'll be off to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for live NFL, the first London game of the season. It's the Vikings against the Browns, and it's followed by the Cowboys against the Jets. And here comes the first change of the game. It's going to be Schwartau, the goal scorer, and Mate Jurasek, the player signed from Slavia Prague in January, had an injury hit start to his Norwich career, is going to come on.
Yeah, I think it's about the time, isn't it, where not only has he given them, 60 minutes or so, but also just in the last few minutes, Ipswich are starting to be a little bit more on top, show the quality that they do have on paper, on the pitch there, and perhaps on another day could be 3-1 up. So yeah, it's about time that Liam Manning makes a little switch.
Well, Kipre limps away to the near side. I think he'll be able to carry on. They'll be temporarily down to 10 here, Ipswich, but the home crowd remain jubilant. Still a long way to go in the game, 27 minutes plus whatever is added on. But Jurasek, the number 10, replaces Schwartau in that first change. So it's Liam Manning, understandably maybe, who's decided to make the first move.
Yeah, I think he has to. He can't sit in this too long. And as I say, it's not as if they may be behind, but it's not as if Norwich are completely on top. He has to try and change the tide somehow.
Foul on Egerle, free kick Ipswich, right wing position. They're still waiting to get Kipre back on. Maybe he'll be able to come on for this set play. Midway inside the Norwich half, a couple of yards infield from the cobbled stand on the far side as we look at it. Big upper tier, tiny lower tier. And that's Furlong standing over it, and Egerle. Here comes Kipre. Back on. Having scored his first Ipswich goal in the first half. Very experienced at this level, Cedric Kipre. And if Ipswich get a third, then they can really start to believe. 2-1 up against Norwich at Portman Road. Norwich have brought everybody back to defend this free kick. Far side the right, definite crossing position. It's the right boot of Darnell Furlong to loft it in, and it's sliced up into the air by Maatsen, not convincingly. Kipre with a neat little nudge to the left-hand side. Here is Jaden Philogene again. Philogene plays it back to Davis. Leif Davis has got time to whip a high crossfield ball left to right to the far side of the area. It's headed away by Jurasek. Now Furlong again. Bouncing ball, knocks it wide to Egerle. Oh, he's chipped it over the top of Jurasek, and he's racing towards the edge of the area. He's still held on to it here. He's played in Furlong, who was actually offside. And so the Ipswich attack comes to an end. 20 minutes into the second half, and what are you making of this game, Scott Minto, now?
It's a really good game, and Ipswich are now starting to show the quality that they've got As I say, I think the goal just before half-time was an absolutely crucial one. It's given them the confidence. You hear the crowd now as well getting behind their team. And then that really helps the players themselves. You know, anyone says, oh, switch off, you paid whatever you paid, just go out there on the pitch and do what you need to do. You are affected, both in a positive and a negative way, from the fans. And I've seen that with Ipswich in the first half and the second now, that goals completely do change things, and that's what's happened here. Second half, Ipswich have been much better.
We are getting closer to the final quarter of the game. Jack Stacey for Norwich, who need an equaliser. Kipre gets in front of Stacey's forward ball towards Sargent, who hasn't really had a clear-cut chance in the game yet. Norwich's number 9, prolific number 9. Norwich throw, midway inside the Ipswich half, near side. And Stacey gets it back square from Topic, but then they give it away cheaply. Forward by Harry Darling for Norwich from halfway, but that's going to drop easily for O'Shea. O'Shea's high ball over the halfway line. Eggley's going to chase it, but Fisher gets in front of him. A little bobbled back pass to Kovacevic, the goalkeeper, who jinks away from Hurst. Not sure how confident he was with that. It's not the best clearance. Ipswich have got it back on halfway, Scott.
I tell you what, I'm going to give him credit there. I think that was quite composed, but then once he did that, he's like, I want to get rid of it as quickly as possible, and then gave it back to Ipswich. But yeah, just it makes you very nervous when goalkeepers try to do things like that.
Maybe luck over judgment. Anyway, Kovacevic survives this time, and neither goalkeeper has really had a lot to do in this second half up to this point, but George Hurst might feel that he should have scored. And at the other end, Ipswich nearly playing themselves into trouble. It's been very tight in the second period, and we are now pretty much into the final quarter. Nearly 68 minutes gone. Ipswich 2, Norwich 1.
Yeah, Sammy Smodics had that chance as well, didn't he? But you're right, the keepers haven't really had a lot to do in the second half, and what they have had has been pretty simple. I mean, that's how it should happen, really. That's what managers want with their team. But where Ipswich were being pressed and not able to get the ball out, they are now.
And I think we will see some Ipswich changes shortly. Maybe as many as 3 or even 4. Casey McAteer getting stripped and ready to go in blue, and it's going to be Marcelino Nunez against his old team. He is ready to line up against Norwich City. Cross the divide. There'll be a Norwich change as well. Here come Ipswich. Raiding down the right is Smodics. Hurst is in the middle. It's towards Hurst. Goalkeeper flaps at it. It's come back to Philogene. Left angle of the penalty area. Lays it square. Cayuste deflected, and it's looped up into Kovacevic's hands.
Look, I don't want to be seen to be criticising Kovacevic too much, but again, he's tried to come out. I don't know if he's tried to catch it or get a punch on it. Either way, it's the slightest of touches, and he's left his goal. It's a great cross, to be fair. It's come back to Philogene.
Hurst nearly reached the ball through the middle from Cayuste. It's through to Kovacevic again, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, it's Ipswich on top now, isn't it, at the moment? The game's opening up because Norwich are trying to tackle.
Jack Stacey raiding down the right for Ipswich, near side of the field. He's got the cross in, it's hit Philogene, it's a corner to Norwich. Well, there are twists and turns to come, maybe, with just over 20 minutes to go on your home of the EFL Talksport 2. And Casey McAteer, I think, is going to put his jumper back on and stay on the bench for now. But it's definitely going to be Ivan Azon, Marcelino Nunez and Jack Clark, and Mahovo and Makama are going to come on for Norwich City in a moment. Before that, though, they have a corner to take. Can they get themselves back level? Jurasek is standing over this one. Scored from a corner that wasn't cleared for the initial equaliser, but now they are 2-1 down. Delivered in by Jurasek into the near post, headed away, drops out to Maatsen on the volley to fire it back in, and Kipre stuck out a leg and it's gone behind again.
Well, it's important for Norwich to try and get a goal here, because that would not only quieten the crowd but give them real chance to perhaps go on and win the game. Ipswich have been better in the second half. They've created a couple of chances. I think both sides look a little bit vulnerable on the set piece and corners in particular.
Well, delivery again for Norwich from the far side. This time it's going to be Kellen Fisher. Again, it's in swinging into the near post. Hurst gets his head to it, and it hits the top of the bar. Hurst tried a clearing header, and I think Palmer probably would have got there anyway, but it has gone behind via the very top of the woodwork.
Yeah, it's a great ball in, it really is. It's at the near post. Palmer may well have got there, but he wouldn't have got it if it had bounced in. Crossbar saved them there.
Well, it's a reminder, isn't it, that Ipswich's lead is a very slender one. And the nervousness might start to return at Portman Road with 18.5 minutes left. A word for Philogene and McLean, who often is a near-post threat from set pieces for Norwich City. Quite a few to aim at, including Cordoba, who's come forward, and Harry Darling is there as well. McLean has shoved over Philogene. Here comes the referee. It's before the corner's been taken. What's going on here, Scott Minto? He's going to be booked. They're both booked, I think. Philogene and McLean.
Just good. Right, stop messing about. Let's play big boy football again now, shall we?
He's been good, the referee.
Been really good.
No doubt about it. Thomas Kirk, not a particularly experienced referee either, and it's a big game for him. And he's now in conversation with Kenny McLean.
I think he's been excellent. I think he's allowed what is the biggest game between these two teams. He knows that it's not as if tackles have been flying in, but when they have come in, he's understood the situation. He's allowed it to go on as much as possible. And he's had a very good game so far.
Substitutions on the way. Norwich seeking equaliser, in by Jurasek, flicked by McLean at the near post wide. He wants another corner, and he's going to get it. It looked like that had gone clean off the boot of McLean, but Philogene isn't really appealing. 8th corner coming up for Norwich, 2-1 down.
I think that's the sign, isn't it, that Philogene didn't complain at all. I think he knows it's come off him. I, like most of the crowd here, thought it was a goal kick.
In by Jurasek this time, high to the back post, well taken by Palmer. And he drops down to the floor, and that'll relieve some pressure on the Ipswich back line. And Ipswich, as a team, can credit themselves there, a flurry of corners that in the end they've dealt with.
But it's two poor set pieces. We had a great one from the other side.
Smodics over the top, down the inside right. Eggerly's offside.
Tell you what, the way they're attacking, I'm not able to finish. But I think it shows it's really gone end to end now, hasn't it? Obviously, Alex Palmer had the ball in his hand, and then within 3 or 4 seconds, they got a possible chance of creating an opportunity. But yeah, just on the set pieces, Jurasek has to do better there. 2 attempts, one really short at the near post, and one just floated for the keeper to come out and catch.
Eggerly replaced by Clark, as on for the front man Hurst. And we'll see a bit of East Anglian derby history now. Marcelino Nunez set to become the 9th player in the history of this famous fixture to play for both teams. Maybe he could become the first to score in the derby for both teams. Big cheers from the home fans, clear boos from the 2,000 away supporters. Nunez has crossed the divide. Officially now, he is on in place of Cayuste. And the changes for Norwich, it's Mahovo and Makama. And Topic has gone off, and so too has Kellen Fisher. So all change, and what a moment for Nunez. Can he really rub salt into the Ipswich wounds here today, I wonder? Norwich fans not so complimentary.
It's a very polite way of saying that, Joe.
Yeah.
Look, everyone loves a bit of a pantomime villain, and he certainly has become that for Norwich, being so vociferous about loving playing for Ipswich, loving the colour blue, and yeah, being on the front cover of the programme today as well, holding the badge.
Well, the ball has been played back by Makama, tall former Lincoln player with curly hair. Norwich have it on the halfway line with Jack Stacey. Ipswich 2, Norwich 1, Talksport 2 with less than 15 minutes of normal time to go. Second half has largely been about Norwich having the better of the possession. Ipswich very much on the counter, but sometimes that's where Ipswich possess the greatest threat in the game. And in Ivan Azon, they've got a willing runner, a Spaniard. And Nunez, there's a Chilean flag unfurled in the crowd away to our left earlier. He will be so determined to come on and make an impact. Davis, left back position. Surges forward over the halfway line for Ipswich, away from the substitute Makama, and he plays a ball through the middle, which Azon had his back to. That allowed Darling to step away with possession for Norwich. Then his touch is bafflingly heavy. It bobbles away from him, and Ipswich have got it back again. Nunez over the top, through to Azon. He's clear. Azon off the post. Jack Clark is there to tuck away the rebound. And it feels like now the heartache is going to be over. Ipswich Town are surely going to finally beat Norwich City. Nunez involved in the build-up, and Clark there to tuck it home from 6 yards out. No chance for the goalkeeper, and maybe no chance for Norwich now. They haven't had a roar at Portman Road like this for 16 long years. Ipswich 3, Norwich 1.
Yeah, and the disappointing thing is that it was Harry Darling who gave the ball away, and suddenly, within a couple of seconds, just where he'd vacated the space, Azon was there. He was through on goal. He took it first time. It's hit the post, but it's fallen into the path of Jack Clark. No Norwich defenders able to get there. And it's a simple finish in the end, but a really good ball, realising that Harry Darling had vacated his space, lost the ball. That's where you try and get at them. He did just that. Azon will be kicking himself he didn't finish it, but it doesn't matter. That third goal is an absolute killer. It's going to be a tough battle now for Norwich to get anything out of this game.
Ipswich have got some breathing space here on Talksport 2. They've got a 3-1 lead. Jack Clark first to the rebound. That'll probably do it, unless Norwich can produce one of the great comebacks in the history of this fixture. But how appropriate that Nunez should play a key part in the goal just moments after coming on. And they've got a free kick on the halfway line. What a ball it was, Scott Minto.
Brilliant ball. And football intelligent of knowing exactly where the space was, because Darling was out and Azon had held himself. So he was literally... Jack Stacey hadn't come across, hadn't read the situation. That's what you've got to try and do when your centre-back goes out, lose the ball. Always think, what if? What if we make a mistake? It's what you're taught even in the youth team.
Here they come again. Philogene down the right. He's away from the defender Mahopo, who gets back at him and concedes a corner. Well, this is exactly what Ipswich fans have waited so long for. From agony to ecstasy in the East Anglian derby. And the contrast in emotions between the Ipswich and Norwich fans couldn't be more obvious. Nunez is getting hero worship as he goes across to take the corner.
It's just as well he's not taking a corner down the other end where the Norwich fans are. My goodness me.
Now, is there going to be a booking here for one of the Norwich staff? Fourth official is going to have a word with Thomas Kirk. The referee has jogged across. No. Nothing like that. There's just an object that's ended up on the field. Let's give it to the fourth official. The Ipswich fans are delirious away to our left. Corner on the far side, the right. And they can really crown it here with a fourth and absolutely decisive goal. They won 3-2 here in 2009, their last victory. 3-1 up now. Marcelino Nunez, Azon's header, wide from the corner. Well, he's come on, the young Spaniard, and he's changed it all around, Scott Minter.
Yeah, he has. Really good substitutions from Kieran McKenna. Looks lively, doesn't he? Looks like he wants to get in there. The corner's come in, he's still got a lot to do. Very brave, getting in front of Cordoba. and it's gone to the far post, and Kovacevic doesn't know exactly whether that's going in or not immediately.
Good flick by Nunez over the top. Jack Clark brings it down, having scored the third goal, and he's racing down the middle. He's fouled by Cordova. Free kick Ipswich, shooting range, yellow card. And Norwich in danger with 9 minutes to go on Talksport 2 of really falling apart here. The booking has actually been given to Maatsen.
Yeah, he's just pushed him over. Just pushed him over right on the edge of the box. And he's losing his discipline a little bit. And Norwich City need to be careful that they don't lose theirs. I think Ipswich have really stepped it up in the second half. I think the goal just before half-time was the game changer. But it doesn't deserve to be a 4-1 game. And it'd be really harsh on Liam Manning if it were to be something like that.
It couldn't be, could it? 25 yards out, right of centre. Perfect, surely, for Marcelino Nunez. 3-1 to Ipswich, 82nd minute. Nunez's hands on hips. Davis is over there as well. He can hit them with his left foot. Wouldn't it be the crowning glory here, though? 2 over the ball for Ipswich Town. It's Marcelino Nunez into the wall. Comes back out to Cedric Kipre, long way out. Square to Jack Clark, out on the left. Clark looking to shimmy upfield. He's played it back to Nunez. Well, all 3 substitutes ultimately playing a part in the goal. Darnell Furlong hits one from long range. Big deflection, corner to Ipswich, and this game now is only going one way. The bragging rights, after such a long time to wait, are coming back to Suffolk.
Yeah, and I think if this halves were reversed, where Ipswich on top in the first half and Norwich were better, you'd have half a belief that maybe they can come back into it. But it's all Ipswich now, and if there's going to be another goal, it's going to come from Ipswich. It looks like the body language of the Norwich City players when that third goal went in was like, we can't come back from this. And Ipswich and the fans, well, they're very much on the front foot, and they don't want to stop at 3.
Referee's just come across the near side touchline again.
It's another object. There's another object being thrown.
It's not good to see.
I think the first one looked like a lighter. The second one, a very small bottle, but glass bottle.
Well, that's not good to see at all. And nobody in their right mind would accept that. Corner to Ipswich, drifted in by Davis. Punched away by the goalkeeper. Almost flapped it into his own net. Headed behind by Stacey. Nearly a 4 for Ipswich Town, and they really can start the party here, you feel, with still 6 minutes to go. And I don't know if Kieran McKenna will enjoy it as such, but the crowd will certainly be able to enjoy it. Nunez is whipping up the crowd as he goes across to take the corner. His face is on the programme cover, and he helped provide the ball that led to the third goal, which has Ipswich into a 2-goal cushion. Nunez short with the corner. Davis left corner of the 18-yard box, back out wide. Nunez whips in the first time ball, headed up into the air and away by Cordova. Bounces on the edge of the penalty area now. Cordova can't sort his feet out, cleared by Sargent. Chuba Akpom ready to come on for Ipswich. And while the Ipswich subs have made a difference, the Norwich subs haven't had any impact on the game. And here is Philogene again down the right. It's all Ipswich Town, the team in blue and white. Philogene with an in-swinging cross, and it's over the head of Jack Clark at the back post. Scott Minto.
Yeah, but if you look at the bench that Ipswich have, I mean, Ashley Young's there with the experience he's got. It's, Walton, Taylor, Young, McAteer, Greaves, Akpom, Azon, Nunez and Clark. I mean, that's as good as it gets in the Championship. So it's a wonderful squad. It's not been the best of starts, and he's kind of going again with some of the players that saw back-to-back promotions, and then that difficult year in the Premier League having gone now. The fans are looking to rebond with their new group of players after what's been a difficult start, and what a better way to do than not just to beat your rivals, but to beat your rivals for the first time in 16 years.
What a change for Ipswich here now as the sun begins to come out again. Credit to the Norwich fans, they are all staying towards the bitter end, it looks like now. with 4.5 minutes to go, but Norwich are 3-1 behind. Ipswich have brought on Chuba Akpom in place of Smodics. Another sign of the amazing depth they've got in this Ipswich squad. Akpom was a brilliant goal scorer at Middlesbrough a couple of seasons ago, 28 league goals in the 22-23 season. He is on loan from Ajax, where it hasn't quite worked out for him. Far side in the left back position for Norwich is Mahovo. Square to Maatsen. Forward ball, good interception by Matu Siva to send it all the way back to Palmer. Maybe what we've seen is the subs, or the finishers as managers like to call them these days, Scott. In fairness to Liam Manning, he with all due respect, hasn't got the depth that Kieran McKenna is able to call upon.
No, he hasn't. And look, you know, these Norwich players, I'd say for 60 minutes, they gave it absolutely everything. I go back to, yeah, you're right, and the finishers have made a difference.
Hazard has held the ball up well, and he's poked it square towards Clark and away by Stacey. It's amazing how lifted Ipswich have been by that third goal. It's like they've got room to breathe again.
But I do go back to the fact that second goal was the big one, just before half-time, when the fans were starting to turn just a little bit beforehand. That goal would completely change the whole atmosphere around here. And Ipswich, really, and they have stepped it up another level since they got the third, but they've been much better since the start of the second half.
Tyro O'Shea, right corner of the penalty area, hammers a high ball downfield. He was actually caught late by Sargent. This is Talksport 2. Talksport, I'm sure, will bring you the manager reaction. Ian Abrahams is going to speak to both head coaches after the game. And there are 2.5 minutes plus added time to go here. But for the fans, Scott, you know how long Ipswich have waited. And is there anything better than the last few minutes of a game where it should be comfortable for Ipswich here?
I would say in a kind of perverse way, maybe a 2-2, then you score a last-minute winner. But then you're really, really nervous leading up to that last-minute winner. I think to have a 2-goal lead is really, really important. And you talk about Kieran McKenna might not be able to enjoy it. I think he probably can as much as you ever can enjoy a football match, especially against your biggest rivals, to be 3-1 up with just minutes to go and in control.
Davis and Matu Siva combined to smuggle the ball away from the onrushing Makama. And they look to break upfield now, Ipswich, with Jack Clark, fouled by Stacey. Free kick Ipswich, left back position, and Norwich they've completely gone, haven't they, since that third Ipswich goal.
Yeah, it's tough for them. And I know this is going to sound strange, but with Liam Manning under a little bit of pressure, Ben Napper under a little bit of pressure. But I think there are positives to take out of this game. I think what we've seen here is Ipswich in the second half stepping it up. But I mean, the question is for Norwich, can they get anywhere near the top six? I think that's going to be a tough call. That's what they wanted to do over the last few years, if not be in the Premier League.
They do have a 3-on-2 here with Cernats, left edge of the penalty area, into the box he shoots, and he's smacked it wide. And maybe with that, as we go into the final 50 seconds of normal time, goes any lingering Norwich hope of a late recovery.
I don't know what happened there, because he picked up the ball on the halfway line. He's got a great left foot. He's run with it. No one's really coming to him. He's gone inside the box. And then he's just had a shot that's just literally skewed off his left foot. He's not even got within a yard of the post, let alone troubling Alex Palmer.
Well, the ball will be cleared upfield now by Palmer as we head towards stoppage time. And it's out of play off Mahovo, the substitute for Norwich.
And look, I understand from a Norwich fan's point of view, there are no positives to take out. You just lost against your biggest rivals, and you've lost for the first time in 16 years. But from a neutral coming in, trying to read the game and seeing how Norwich are right now, I would argue, I've not seen every single game, but I've seen a few of them, and actually midweek was probably their best game. I would say this is better. So in terms of performance, it's better. You've got to try and keep your head down, don't go out for a couple of days, but build on the positives from this, and then who knows what they can do. But there's no doubt about it, this is a horrible day for Norwich fans, and it's an amazing day for the Ipswich ones.
Ipswich lead 3-1 with 30 seconds through 5 added at the end of the game. Marcelino Nunez, right of centre, blocked off by his old teammate McLean, and now Philogene knocks it forward to Akpom. Back out wide is Davis, and Ipswich hold on to the ball. They were bouncing around in the stands, the Ipswich fans, for a moment there. Nunez towards the edge of the D, but with his back to goal, finds Matthew Seaver. I get the impression he might quite like to score, Scott Minto. Marcelino Nunez here. The impression he wouldn't mind it.
I think he'd absolutely love it, and he'd probably do a lap of honour as well.
Philogene could be in inside right. He pulls it back, lofted high over the head of Akpom. I think he knew he was miles offside there. Yeah. Philogene, but they're starting to shout the Olays, the Ipswich supporters, and the big party at Portman Road is about to get underway. And you can forget the league. Days like this, when you beat your local rivals, it's better than winning the league, and they could get more here. Akpom into the area, angle against him, denied by Kovacevic with a good save with his foot.
Yeah, that is a good save from Chuba Akpom. We know he's a top goal scorer at this level. I mean, he's hit the target, but he'll still be thinking, it's a great opportunity for me to make it 4-1.
2 minutes through 5 added, and some of the Norwich fans are now heading out as the Portman Road pitch is now filled with the bright sunshine, the glare. The throw which Furlong will take. It's level with the edge of the Norwich box, and since the third goal they've been camped in the Norwich half, and it's just been a question of how many they will get. And a lot of people, Scott, yourself included, said today could be the day. Has that superior squad made the difference?
I think, you know, we both said it, didn't we? We both, before going on air, that we both felt that this would be the day. On paper, they've got much the better team. Although they haven't had the best of starts of the season, they're still in a better place, really. Norwich really struggling to find themselves at the moment. So yes, you know, they, after what was a tough first half, again, I go back to it, you know, games are changed in moments. And that Philogene strike to make it 2-1 just before half-time has changed things. And the psychology of all the players individually, so much better from Ipswich in this second half. And once the third goal went in, well, it's been all Ipswich all the way since. And my only surprise is there's not been a fourth.
2 minutes to go of added time. No foul on Azon, but Nunez has won it back off Cordoba. He's chipped it over the top. Akpom racing to keep it in play. Left dead ball line, 90 seconds to go. Jack Clark in the area now, twisting and turning with his back to goal. He's gone square and he's knocked it straight out of play. But it doesn't matter for Ipswich. They're 3-1 up and they are very nearly able to celebrate. It almost will feel even sweeter because it's been so long. It had become run-of-the-mill for Norwich to get the best. Nunez has gone for goal from a long way out, and a half volley, 40 yards out, where we're about to have one of the great goals in this derby. It is not a million miles over, but it's over, definitely.
Do you get the impression he wants to score?
I get the feeling that he'd quite like a goal.
Just the 40 yards out, and he wanted to have a pop.
How good has he been since he came on?
He's been very good. He's certainly got cojones, that guy.
Absolutely. 50 seconds to go. And now Makama, right edge of the area for Norwich. Back to Jack Stacey. Nunez is there to clear. Akpom has held it up and he's fouled midway inside his own half. That'll do it well and truly. Some of the Norwich fans are heading away now. You can understand that.
Joe, it's an historic day.
It is.
No, Ipswich haven't done this for 16 years. And while they haven't played their big rivals on a year-on-year basis, it's 14 games of somehow them not able to beat their bitter rivals. You know, in the first 30 minutes, I wasn't sure it was going to end like this. But second half, they really have stepped it up. 2-1, 3-1. And if they played another 90 minutes the way this is going, they'll score a few more.
It's finally happened! 16 long years! More than 6,000 days. Finally, Ipswich Town have beaten Norwich City. The East Anglian bragging rights are coming back to Suffolk. It's been a long time, but good things come to those who wait. and Ipswich have outclassed Norwich in the end. Their first win over their Norfolk neighbours since April the 19th, 2009. Suffolk supremacy on Derby Day, finally for Ipswich, and how appropriate that it should happen in the sunshine of Portman Road. What a day for Kieran McKenna, and what disappointment for Liam Manning. It will really hurt him. A Norwich lad born in the city, and Norwich's poor start to the season continues, but for both clubs this was always about more than just league points, much more than that. These are the kind of days where it really does pay to follow your team through thick and thin. Jim Magilton is in the crowd, and the last manager prior to today to be on the winning side for Ipswich in an East Anglian derby applauds. Meanwhile on the pitch, Kovacevic, the Norwich goalkeeper, is covering his face with his shirt. He's devastated, arguably to blame for at least one of the goals. Cedric Kipre putting Ipswich in front, and the Ipswich players have started the celebrations. There was an equaliser from Oscar Schwartau, but this time Ipswich were not to be denied. Jayden Philogene put them in front with a screamer just before half-time, and then Jack Clark off the bench with a bit of help from Marcelino Nunez in the build-up, adding the icing, and Nunez is leading the Ipswich celebrations. He's holding up the blue corner flag. I tell you what, for Norwich later in this season, that'll be ripe ammunition for revenge. But it is Nunez's day, it is Ipswich's day. They have beaten Norwich City by 3-1. And the Norwich fans are making it pretty clear, I think. Here's Scott Minto. Fair play to the Norwich players and the staff. They're standing in front of them. They're taking what's thrown at them. For the Norwich fans, well, it'll be devastating that they've lost what seemed like a vice-like grip of this game against Ipswich.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking over there. Some of the Norwich fans, a couple of them are clapping, others are having a go. When you can see that it's not an easy moment for Norwich. The fans have come here and seen their team get beaten. I thought they played well in the first half and didn't just have enough in the second. I think it's more than just today. But today is an historic day. It's the first time in 16 years a Norwich City fan has seen their team beaten by Ipswich Town. And when you add to the fact that what's happened in the last few years and even the start of the season, they're not happy, and you can understand it, and they're justified in it as well.
Look at Nunez, Scott. He's really lapping up every moment. He's getting ready to kiss the badge again. His face was on the programme. This is absolute gold dust for Ipswich fans. Nunez is their new hero, and he made a big impact in the game when he came on, didn't he?
Do you know what he did? And obviously he made that wonderful pass that led to the goal. But I don't know, I don't really see the point in him rubbing it in so much.
Well, does that give Norwich a bit of motivation for the next fixture next year?
Absolutely, and you know, you never know. I mean, players, it's not like the old school where players would remember that and say, right, I'm going to get you in the next game, and there'd be a very naughty tackle that went on. I mean, that may be the case. I just think have a little bit of class, to be honest with you. You understand that you played for a club, you did well for them, you got a lot of money for them as well, but you've just gone to their bitter rivals. It's not for me, to be honest with you.
Declan Rice didn't celebrate when he scored against West Ham, and it's different because Arsenal and West Ham are not as bitter rivals.
Trust me though, the West Ham fans were not happy about it, and actually even a couple of seasons on, he's still not celebrating when he scored.
Is that how it should be? What do you think? He maybe should tone it down a bit.
Listen, I think you'll find 50-50. A lot of people will absolutely love it, and it's theatre. For sure. I think in terms of a storyline, it's certainly good to look at and watch, but it's not for me. Have a little bit of class, have a little bit of respect for the club that you played for. And you don't have to go this much over the top. I mean, it's not as if you scored a hat-trick yourself. He came off the bench and you made an assist to an assist. But it wasn't as if he was man of the match or anything. And even if he was, still, I personally would go down the Declan Rice route. But do you know what? It's a wonderful world that we have different characters and different people.
Well, he is certainly a player of the right mentality for this sort of fixture. And who knows whether the Norwich players will get extra motivation from it. Maybe they won't. I mean, they know him as a person, and he's certainly been involved in a great Ipswich victory today. Scott Minto, how important is that for Kieran McKenna and for Ipswich now in the wider context? Because the Derby Day victory is the important thing, but they're on a bit of a roll now, especially at home.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was important. And again, they can look back and go on a run. I think this squad, and we talk about the squad, is capable of going on a 25-match unbeaten run, winning 15 of those, and I still believe that they will, if not win the title itself, and finish in the top two. You look at the strength of the bench, and that's where, when injuries come in, the games are thick and fast, and they are already, but the pitches, I wouldn't say get heavy, but it just gets, harder and harder to feel fresher and fresher. The squad that they've got, I think, is one of the best in the division, and money has been spent. And it's been well earned because, the job that Kieran McKenna has done since he's come up from League One and back-to-back promotions. First half of last season, I thought they did really well and were a little bit unlucky. Second half fell away and was disappointing. And I think there was a little bit of, disappointment at the start of this season. Obviously, players going right towards the end of the window. So there's a new group of players here. But I think this could well be the game that really kickstarts them and get them onto a fantastic run that sees them eventually, come the end of the season, going straight up.
Well, they're a super side, and you get the sense they've got more gears to go through, and well done to Kieran McKenna. Just a quick word, Scott, finally on Liam Manning. You have to feel for him. He's born in Norwich. He knows what this means to the fans, but it's not been a good start. The stats will tell you that, and this won't help.
No, but I think the club has been in a little bit of trouble over the last few seasons. Obviously, recent new owners, and they want to try and do something a little bit different. Very much go down the data-driven way. It didn't work with Hoftorp last season, and now a new manager has come in, and it's going to take a little bit of time. I hope he's given the time. I really do. I think he's a proven manager in the EFL. I think it's important for Ben Napper that he does well, because that's the second person he's chosen to be as manager or head coach of Norwich City. So he'll certainly want to make this work. I think it needs a little bit of time. You can't judge them on today, and as disappointing, as gut-wrenching as it is to lose to Ipswich for the first time in 16 years, I saw some positives there, but they have to build on this, to build on the positives anyway, and use the negatives as fuel. You have to start picking up points and winning games at home. That's where they need to sort things out.
Well, Scott, thank you for today, as ever.
Pleasure, mate.
Nice quiet afternoon.
I know I'll be able to get out a lot easier than Marcelino Nunez will if he goes past any Norwich fans.
Well, look, it's all in the spirit of football, and though there were a couple of objects thrown, actually, which is not nice to see, that aside, it generally seemed to progress in the right sort of spirit. So it has been some Derby Day on Talksport 2. Thank you to Scott Minto for your company across the last 2 or 3 hours or so. And just briefly what it does to the table, and Norwich stay 19th, just a couple of points clear of the drop zone, but Ipswich go up into 9th, and they've got a game in hand on the teams around them. If they win that, they could go as high as 3rd. So Kieran McKenna's side are on the up. Full time in the East Anglian Derby here. Thanks for your company this afternoon. It has finished. Ipswich Town 3, Norwich City 1. Coming up next on Talksport 2, we're off to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns on NFL Live.